Good afternoon, Heat Nation, folks, folkettes, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of The Happenings, and my Worthless of a Penny, which I'm going to record after the Orlando show, even though it was supposed to include only the 25th game. We're going to use the 26th because it's a back-to-back and it's very difficult to record a full video. Plus, I am going to try to be as short as possible today and try to include everything that I thought about this game that happened yesterday, a loss against the Thunder, and then a little bit about Orlando tonight. I don't have the injury report for tonight. I know that Butler is questionable with an illness, but this is in regards, of course, to the game in which about 8 minutes into the first quarter, he rolled his left leg a lot. He rolled it completely sideways to, I think, inward sideways. The left foot, if I'm not mistaken, the one that he constantly twists is the right one. So I'm not sure how the left foot is. But then once it comes out, he's not coming back because he is ill. Now, of course, there is the possibility that he was ill before, and then all of a sudden he got a lot more more vulnerable, and then he played 8 minutes that I didn't hear much about him, so I knew that he wasn't engaged in those first 8 minutes. We saw a lot of engagement from Bams, a lot of engagement from Hero early on, but not from Butler. So obviously could have been sick and then more vulnerable, and then he go ahead and twists his leg, and that's kind of does the night for him, just because of that uncomfort that you feel in your body. It's possible because they're listing him as doubtful for tonight's game. It's not going to play. I don't believe, at least, and I don't think that he's going to play because he rolled his ankle. Now the interesting thing is to see what's going to happen against the Nets on Monday, because if it twists his ankle again, it's a couple of weeks, right? It's a week, 2 weeks, depending on the severity of the sprain. But again, right, the Miami Heat and their lack of transparency as it comes to injuries. How's my son? Now, I'm going to leave this in, and I hope that it doesn't come back too much because I'm alone with him today, and so I think that he has a lot of things that he wants my attention, and he needs my attention more than you guys do. But I still wanted to get this thing out of my chest. So the first thing that I want to say is that, okay, so I said before the game, and I'm going to say it again, right? Minutes with Rozier and Jaime Jaquez Jr. are killing us, because regardless of how good Jaime Jaquez Jr. can be at sometimes, it was one, particularly in the beginning of the game, a couple of assists by Hero, but one of them, the Hero threw the ball straight at Jaquez. Jaquez was able to finish it well, but the ones that he can't finish really kill us. I don't understand why he's there in the fourth quarter, so I don't get why he would be finishing or closing the game. I don't understand why Rozier would get so many minutes again, right? I mean, as much as we're trying to get his value up, we also need to win games. And it's not that they're not helping, they are harming us. And again, I do think that Jaime Jaquez at the end of the game was a mistake by Spo, but in the end of the day, this is the best backcourt in terms of net rating. At this time, I think if we take the Miami Heat with this net rating, in general, I see them at 16th. I don't see them at first. I don't know where they got the idea. But the backcourt is indeed the first in terms of Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, 24, 25. They're the best in defensive rating. They're the best in offensive rating. They're doing the best that they can. And so blaming Duncan Robinson because he had a poor night or because he made a couple of shots late that didn't go in, that's just not how it is. The fact of the matter is that both against the Pistons, and they were the best net rating, by the way, before the Pistons. So I don't know if that changed a little bit after the Pistons and the Thunder, but both against the Pistons and against the Thunder, we struggled to get to a decent percentage in three-point shooting. Now, we are not going to win games normally shooting under 30% beyond the arc, which was the case yesterday. As far as our defense go, you can't ask for much more than having 3 blocks versus their 5, than having 8 steals to their 7, if I'm not mistaken. All of the turnovers pretty much that we had that we basically caused those turnovers for them. They caused a lot of our turnovers as well. So this was a game in which we played decently well. They were never distant from us, no matter the difference in the rankings, no matter the difference on paper. They were never very distant from us. And we lost our best player, which, again, could be nothing. But in a game that he's supposed to play, even if it doesn't, he does. It does mean because the game plan had Jimmy Butler in it. And without Jimmy Butler, of course, you adapt. But you don't always adapt well to losing your best player. You have to, come into the game prepared to give your utmost. And I'm not even thinking about Tyler Hero, because Tyler Hero is an all-star. He's playing at an all-star level. I'm just saying in general, right, when the other players don't pick up the slack around them, again, right, Bam Adebayo had a decent night, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Not a bad night for him, but you obviously need a lot more from Bam if Jimmy Butler is not playing. But again, it's exactly what I said before the game. The inconsistencies. You don't know who is going to show up. With the exception of Hero, you don't know who is going to show up. And I think that Duncan Robinson has been pretty consistent too with what he does. It's just that if he doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. It's that's the thing about a 3-point shot. It's the NBA is investigating, by the way, the increased amount of 3-point attempts made. 3-point attempt during the games, and it's just ridiculous because this is the new NBA. If you can't shoot the three, if you can't attempt to get more points, when you have a little bit of a cushion, or even when you don't, when the shot selection is just there, when you're open, that's when everything is going to go. I love the fact that we found a guy like Drew Smith to be our co-Drew, but again, it cannot be Drew Smith, right? It can't be Drew Smith. We need to have a point guard that makes sense. I don't think that we're going to see Josh Richardson in a Heat jersey again, but I don't know yet. Like I said yesterday, but I didn't complete my thoughts. A lot of things are going on. I don't think Butler is being traded during the season. I don't think it's over. There are a few people who like to pride themselves in saying things like, it's over, Jimmy Butler's going to be traded, that's it. I don't think so. But what I can see is that, yesterday's scenario kind of shows what we all fear of Jimmy Butler, right? In which, okay, he's going to give you the best game of his career with the Miami Heat, the second best game of his career in the regular season, the third best game of his career with the Miami Heat, counting the postseason, and the next game is a no-show. And he's a no-show. It's not like, okay, during those 8 minutes he scored like 5 points. No, he's a no-show. He's a no-show. He hasn't played, and he hasn't done, and he hasn't competed, and he hasn't. And now, of course, it's probably not coming today, and we don't know how long it's going to be out. And, so of course, all those trade rumors, they just become more agitated. Things become more. What's happening is Jimmy Butler has not renewed his extension, even though there are no active inquiries, or even if there are inquiries, or there isn't any activity that is going to take Miami Butler right now off of Miami. Teams may be interested, and the Miami Heat may be interested to listen in proposals, but as far as I've heard, no proposal has been made from any team thus far, and the Miami Heat hasn't listened to any proposal thus far, which is, again, everything that we've heard. So it's not the fact that this is not a piece of news, it's just not a piece of new news, and the way that they put out was exactly to create a kind of turmoil. I guess turmoil is not the right word, but the kind of hype that it created. Now, I don't understand, again, why Spo doesn't play certain players that I think could help. We are still pretty early in the season to put those players in and plug them to get, if you are suffering with a 3-point shot, I can't understand why you wouldn't give Burks minutes. I mean, unless I missed something and he played during about 8 minutes that I didn't watch of the game, then I take my words back, because I really haven't watched the highlights. It's just about the entire sentiment. Everybody hates now. The Miami Heat is in big trouble because we lost 2 straight after winning 4 straight. After getting to 3 above 500, we're now only 1 above 500. And our schedule right now is not as complicated on paper as it was until now. But it was pretty complicated until now. And actually, I think that we did pretty well all things considered. Now, against the Orlando, the only thing that I can say is that they are playing pretty well. If I'm not mistaken, they're 17-10. So they've won 4 games more than we did, and they played 2 games more than we did. So at the end of the day, it's gonna come to a certain point. But I'm interested in seeing how we do against the Magic, because we lost to them on opening night so badly that I hope that our players want to show them a lesson. I don't know who doesn't play from them right now. I know who probably doesn't play for us, but I don't know who doesn't play for them, and I'm a little bit. Well, I think that every single Heat fan is concerned because they kind of see, okay, there is no team that Miami Heat can say, okay, I'm going to win, with very few exceptions, like Charlotte, thus far. Because even them were not as easy. But the Raptors were super difficult. For us to get to 2-1, I don't think we played them again. For us to get to 2-1 against the Raptors, that was not easy at all. Pistons, I think we still played them once, but we already lost twice against them. So obviously every team, and Orlando is not a bad team at all this year, is very, very intimidating. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Again, like it all depends who shows up. And because it depends who shows up, that is the kind of inconsistency that makes you think, okay, against the Thunder, they played horribly. They didn't play horribly. What happens is the Thunder played better defense, and they shot better from beyond the arc. They were better in the perimeter. We did not make their lives easier, but they were just better. We missed 7 free throws down the stretch, like 3 or 4 free throws between Jaime Jaquez and Bam. Down the stretch, losing the game by 7 because of certain combination of things. It could have been by 4 too, and we could have won that game by making just the free throws. We could have certainly won that game by making the layups that we missed, by making the layups that popped out from Rozier or from Jovic or from Jaquez, especially from Jaquez. And it's really unnerving to see that, because again, we cannot be the team that is worst in the league when it comes to about within 5 feet, shots within 5 feet. If it's not a dunk, we always feel, and that's what I'm saying. Like at the beginning of the game, at least, Duncan Robinson did give you those easier layups, but we all know that's not his job. That his job is to attempt threes, and that he's a killer when he's minimally hot. So again, he's not the problem. Jimmy Butler per se is also not the problem. And by the way, again, he could be ill and half twisted his leg. I think he twisted his ankle, and again, he's just not being transparent. But we have one player that is detrimental to us, and one player that hit a sophomore wall that I don't want to see gone. But I don't think that he can contribute as well. And if, again, you're not playing well, you don't get minutes, Paul. Come on, bro. Have a lot of people that want your head in the chopping block because they don't understand that you're one of the best leagues in the coach. Yeah, sure, I'm talking to him right now. That you're one of the best leagues in the coach. And that's fine, because again, I understand that no job should be secure, and you, sir, probably have the most secure job in the entire world. But the truth is, it's not your fault. It's not your fault when players miss 7 free throws. It's not your fault when players miss layups. It's not your fault when the other defense does what the other defense is supposed to do, and the other offense does better than ours. Right? It's not, because I think that we did fairly well defensively. And I think that we crapped the bed offensively. That has been the story for the past 3 seasons. Now, those arguing that our defense has decreased in terms of efficiency, yes, it has, because of also of our offense. One thing feeds to the other. That's my take, right? Yes, it has, because of our offense. If we miss the types of shots that we miss, meaning if we miss by having 3-4 people closer to the rim, you guys know what coming back looks like at that point. So there's a lot of fast break points, and there's a lot of points that we just don't get back quickly enough to adjust as we do when we make those makes. So yeah, defensively we're falling off a cliff. No, defensively we're suffering a little bit, especially with this starting lineup, because as much as Duncan Robinson has improved, and he has, and as much, as Hero has improved, and he has, it's very, very far from ideal. In any case, I don't know what to expect from tonight, because we never do. But Just like yesterday, it was a game that we could win. Today is a game that we can win. And I'm sorry, if this is something that jinxes it, that's fine. Because to me, there are three categories. Schedule lost, a game to lose, actually four, right? Schedule loss, a game to lose, a game to win, and an iffy game, a game that's up in the air. And the Magic has all the ingredients to be one of those iffy games up in the air, regardless of who plays and who doesn't tonight. In any case, let's stay safe, let's stay dry, let's stay as happy as possible in this complicated world of ours. Let's go Heat!